3 games in, and the Golden State Warriors already feel like they've lived through an entire season of emotions. Dominant wins, painful lessons, and one haunting question echoing through Chase Center. Can this aging core still carry the fire? Before we dive into what this opening week really revealed about Golden State, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification bell. Because here on Eerie Glow, we go beyond the headlines to tell the real story behind the noise. The first week of the 2025 NBA season has officially concluded, and the Warriors find themselves at 2-1. It's a solid record on paper. 2 strong victories against the Lakers and the Nuggets, followed by a shocking 20-point loss to the Trail Blazers. But for those who watch closely, the story wasn't just about wins and losses. It was about patterns, fatigue, and the painful truth that experience sometimes collides with time. This wasn't just a trap game. It was a wake-up call. Golden State entered the season with renewed optimism, new pieces, a sharper defense, and the promise of a fresh start after a chaotic 2024 campaign. But then came the reality check. 3 back-to-backs in their first 10 games. That's one of the toughest stretches in the entire NBA, a brutal schedule even for a young roster, let alone a team led by 37-year-old Stephen Curry, 35-year-old Draymond Green, and 39-year-old Al Horford. These veterans have defied age before, but the grind of consecutive nights doesn't forgive anyone. And already, you could feel the wear. The legs slower on defense. The rotations just a second late. The fatigue setting in not just physically, but mentally. It showed in Portland. After outclassing the Lakers and the defending champion Nuggets, Golden State walked into a trap. A young, desperate Blazers team playing with nothing to lose. And the Warriors looked exactly like what they are, a great team searching for rhythm in an unforgiving schedule. Turnovers piled up, 25 of them, and every possession fell heavier. The offense that once danced with beauty and rhythm stumbled under the weight of its own chaos. That's been the story before, and somehow it's back again. Turnovers have always been Golden State's double-edged sword. The same creativity that makes them electric also makes them erratic. Against Portland, that chaos cost them the game. Every careless pass, every mistimed cut felt like a glimpse of their old ghosts. Steve Kerr knows it. He's seen it too many times. But this season, it feels different because there's less margin for error. And then there's the roster imbalance. Too many guards, not enough size. It's been said all offseason, and now it's impossible to ignore. Even with Seth Curry and DeAnthony Melton yet to make their season debuts, the lack of reliable front-court depth is glaring. Golden State can't rebound consistently, can't protect the rim the way contenders must. And when Horford sits, the whole interior collapses. Quentin Post and Tracy Jackson-Davis are promising, but still learning. You can see it in their positioning, in their timing. They're the future, but the present still relies heavily on older legs. Brandon Podziemski's early struggles haven't helped. After a strong preseason, fans expected him to take a leap, a dependable second-unit playmaker, a steady hand when the veterans rest. Instead, he's looked hesitant, missing shots, forcing plays, and struggling to find rhythm. Yet, Steve Kerr keeps trusting him. It's easy to criticize that decision, but there's something deeper behind it. Kerr sees beyond the stat sheet. He sees a player who plays hard, listens, and will eventually figure it out. The frustration from fans is understandable. They want results now, but the coaching staff believes in the long game. Podziemski might not be there yet, but he's being built for the moments that matter most. Still, you can't ignore the whispers about Kerr's rotations. Too much small ball, too much experimenting, too much patience in the eyes of fans who have grown used to precision. But Kerr's hands are tied in some ways. When you don't have size, you adjust the best you can. You trust the system, you trust your veterans, and you hope your shooters catch fire. That's been the Warriors' formula for years. It's risky, but it's also who they are. And despite all these flaws, there's one truth shining through. When this team is healthy, they're still dangerous. The starting 5 of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Al Horford is elite. Experience, intelligence, and chemistry that few teams can match. When they share the floor, Golden State looks like Golden State again, precise, intense, and connected. The problem is keeping them all there. At their age, durability isn't guaranteed. The season is long, and Kerr will need to manage minutes carefully. The brightest light so far? Jonathan Kuminga. The leap everyone's been waiting for finally feels real. His improved three-point shooting, better decision-making, and relentless rebounding have transformed him from an athletic spark plug into a legitimate two-way force. He's no longer just reacting, he's dictating. His energy has become contagious, his confidence unshakable. In many ways, Kuminga is the bridge between eras, the living proof that this dynasty still has life beyond its legends. He's not just fitting in anymore, he's leading, and there's help on the way. DeAnthony Melton is recovering from injury, expected back soon. Seth Curry, set to join in mid-November, will bring reliable shooting and veteran spacing. Their arrivals could reshape the rotation entirely, easing the burden on struggling guards like Podziemski, Pat Spencer, and Gue Santos. Once those two integrate, the Warriors' depth could finally balance. More defense, more control, and more stability in second-unit minutes that have too often slipped away. So, yes, the first week was imperfect. It was frustrating, but it was also revealing. The Warriors are not a broken team. They're an evolving one. They're walking the tightrope between experience and exhaustion, between patience and urgency. And through all of it, there's still belief. The locker room remains confident. The coaching staff believes in their system. And the players, even the young ones, understand the stakes. Steph Curry is still leading like a man chasing something bigger than stats or legacy. Draymond Green, for all the mileage, still brings that defensive heartbeat every night. Jimmy Butler's presence adds a layer of toughness that this roster desperately needed. And Horford, quiet, disciplined, unselfish, brings balance. Golden State knows in October, you don't win championships. You survive. You learn. You identify weaknesses early so you can fix them before they become fatal. And that's exactly what this first week was about. Identifying the cracks before the storm. The good news? Despite all these concerns, the Warriors are still third in the West. They've beaten elite teams, looked dominant when healthy, and they haven't even been at full strength. Once Melton and Seth Curry return, once Kerr tightens a rotation, once Podziemski settles down, this team can still climb. They believe they can win 50-plus games. And if they stay healthy, nobody in the West wants to see them in a 7-game series. The question isn't whether they can play at a championship level. The question is whether they can sustain it, whether they can fight off fatigue, hold off injuries, and keep faith when the road gets darker. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this dynasty, it's that doubt is their favorite fuel. So maybe that 20-point loss wasn't a disaster. Maybe it was a spark. A reminder that greatness isn't built in comfort, but in resistance. The Warriors don't need an easy start. They need a reason. And after this week, they just found one. Because behind the turnovers, the fatigue, and frustration, there's still that unmistakable fire. The one that's defined Golden State for a decade. It flickers differently now, slower, older, wiser. But it's still there, burning, waiting. The season is young. The critics are loud, but the Warriors, they've been here before. And if there's one thing about dynasties, they don't fade quietly. This is just the beginning. And here's the key takeaway from the channel. Delve into financial education to enhance your quality of life. Within the financial market, explore bonds and shares, particularly focusing on real estate investment trusts, which offer potential for passive income. Engage with this responsibly and consider reputable investment brokerages worldwide.